and welcome to today's class. For today, I do have a blanket with me that I'm going to use to get started in a nice comfortable seat. So you don't necessarily need one. You can be the judge of whether or not you'd like to bring that along. Not going to be essential for our class, but just something that is worth having nearby if you have it accessible. So whenever you do have your space to practice in, let's go ahead and meet in a nice easy seat. Whether or not you're using that blanket, go ahead and grab that. And just scooch that underneath your sit bones. Finding a nice cross-legged seat. Either leg can start out in front. We'll do both. And just settle into your space. Rooting down into the earth. And staying tall within the spine, but also maintaining a nice softness in your space. So even if you don't typically need a blanket for that lift to sit upright, it might be nice to just have something a little bit softer underneath your hips here. This class is geared toward being a nice evening wind down, and so that added softness to kind of bridge out of your day and into a bit of ease. That's going to be the goal of today's movements. So in these first few moments of class, we're going to focus on the breath, calm the energy, calm the mind. And so feel free to take your gaze out into something to maintain your focus, or if you feel comfortable, feel free to close your eyes. And on the next two breaths, on the inhale, keeping the hands down onto the knees. Inhale, reach those shoulders up high into the ears. And then exhale, draw them down. Inhale, draw the shoulders up. And exhale, draw them down. On that draw down, feel the crown of the head reach toward the sky, nice and gently. And I want you to start to take a count of 4 on the inhales and exhales. Just slowing the pace of your breath, trying to deepen the space that you create. With every series. And let that inhale pull in all the positive energy that surrounds you, all the good in your space. And then on those exhales, nice and slow, release what doesn't serve you, what is lingering from your day. Let it go. So inhaling that good. And exhaling what's no longer required, and allow every breath to soften you further and further into your space. 2 more rounds here. And then softly blink the eyes open if you closed them for your breath work. And then from here, we're going to slowly start to find some big circles over top your seat. And so as you do that, make the movements as slow as you'd like, as deliberate as you'd like, but make them big. Keeping those sit bones down onto the floor-ish. Working through the belly, working through the spine. As you C-curve back, puff your upper back toward the space behind you. Lean into that left side, puff the chest up forward. Maybe let those hips spill forward and then bow over towards the right before scooping back into that C-curve once more. Maybe you're going in the opposite direction. That is fine. And incorporating the shoulders as much as you'd like. Rounding and rolling back one at a time. Just get some freedom in your space. And slowly take that whirlpool into the other direction. And maybe you feel slightly different sensations as you shift your course. But again, let this feel good. Explore the motions a little bit bigger than you typically would. No matter what your profession may be, whatever you are doing throughout the day, I imagine you're staying in a pretty contained series of movements. And so to kind of work your way out of that, to clear out the space, sometimes it feels a little unnatural, sometimes it's not. It's just something we always explore. So take this time on your mat to explore that. And slowly swirling our way towards center. Inhale, use that connection, palms to knees to pull the chest forward. Reach the crown of the head up tall. And then exhale, find a nice little rounding of the back. So just a few rounds, just going forward and back. Letting the chin even dip in towards the chest. Inhale, pull forward. Maybe flicking that tailbone a little bit further back behind you as you pull the chest forward. Exhale, round. Using that connection, hands to knees to find a little traction, a little pull across the shoulder blades. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, round. Inhale, come back up to center. And exhale, clear the breath. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, come over towards the right. Right hand plants, left arm comes up and over. And keep the heel of the hand pressing down into the earth so you can encourage that left hip point or that hip bone to stay grounded. Opening up through the left hip crease, through the belly, through the low back, through the side body. Inhale back through center. Exhale, switch sides. Palm of the left hand plants. Inhale, right arm up and over. Bow that right rib cage over towards the right side and reach the right fingertips over towards the left. Breathe new air in. Exhale, let it all out. Inhale, arms up through center. Exhale, cactus the elbows down toward your hips. Open the chest. Feel a little engagement of the back body. Maybe the gaze lifts. Inhale, pull everything in toward heart center. Exhale, settle. Go ahead and shift your weight back just a little bit to free up those legs, straightening one leg out at a time. And feel free to give them a little shimmy shake, straightening out those legs, opening up through the knee joint. And I did say we were going to switch the cross of the legs, and we didn't. So if you feel asymmetrical by the end of the class, feel free to revisit that on the other side. Otherwise, while we're here, inhale, tall spine. Reaching those heels out in front of you, toes up towards the sky. And then exhale, find a nice fold. Lengthening through the back line of the body. Fingertips can just rest outside the legs. Legs can be as wide as you'd like. So they can be hips width distance. They could be kissing one another. They don't have to be anywhere in particular. Again, this is a wind down, so let it feel good. If you want to grab hold of the legs, you're welcome. If you are in a depth where you're able to grab hold of the soles of the feet, you're welcome. Otherwise, just let the hands rest alongside the legs, finding a nice long spine. And then once you get to your peak, you just round the chin down toward the chest. Walk the hands back up nice and slow. Find that nice tall seat, and then bring one foot in at a time. Give those knees a hug. Bring the thighs toward the belly, belly toward the thighs. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Now we're going to go ahead and remove that blanket if you had one. And we're slowly going to roll down onto our backs. Take your time nice and slow. And as you rest your upper back, your back onto the earth, bring those feet slightly wider than hips width distance and let the knees fall all the way over toward the right. Gentle press of that left knee down toward the earth. Feel it opening within the left side of the outside of that left hip. And then inhale. Through center, exhale, fall over towards the left. And then we're going to go back and forth at a pace that feels good. If you want to make those motions smaller to kind of work through the low back, feel free. If you want to find slightly more activation to feel some more opening within the hips, that's an option. So if you keep them smaller and just kind of rock side to side, there's one. If you want to be more slower, if you want to be slower paced and more deliberate, really drive and open each round. How is your body feeling in this moment, and what is it requiring? Feel free to explore both. For another round or two, even yourself out. And then come back towards center. Bring those feet back to being hip width distance apart. And then bring one knee in toward the chest at a time. Grab hold of those shins. Squeeze in, nice and strong. Let the breath melt your back, your spine into the earth. Breathing into that compressed space. Feel the belly pushing into the thighs with every inhale. And then go ahead and allow the knees to come away from you just enough to bring that hip into 90 degrees. And then slowly, arms can be in a capital T if you have the space to make that shape happen. And then you're going to just kind of bump the hips over towards the left and let the knees fall over towards the right, finding a nice twist. Trying to keep that left shoulder blade anchored down toward the earth. So if it feels good, you can also have that arm in a goalpost position. Right hand resting on the outer thigh of that left leg and feeling that twist through the belly, feeling the opening across the chest, feeling the lengthening within the low back. Breathe nice and deep into the belly, filling the lungs as much as your body will allow here in this moment. And then go ahead and release your hold onto the legs. Again, arms in a capital T or a goalpost, whatever is most accessible. Belly strong as you bring those knees back into center. And you don't have to scoop the hips over towards one side. That's okay if you're staying right in the middle and just twisting from there. Depends on what you feel like you need in your body to get yourself into that space. But if you're able to, you can always bump those hips up over towards the right as you drop those knees toward the left. Really getting those hips underneath you. Gaze stays up toward the sky, or you can look over toward, so now we're twisted toward the left. You can gaze over towards that right hand, if it's okay for your neck. If it feels like something you'd like to explore, but not needed. Trying to stay anchored in that right shoulder. Feeling that twist through the spine, feeling now the right side, the right hip, opening up as the left side falls heavy down and toward the earth. And just trying to let your low body settle, trying to let the entirety of the body settle. Really feeling the sensations as the lower body goes toward the left, the upper body stays central or toward the right. And keep using that breath to feel what it truly feels like to settle into the space. And you'd be surprised when you do bring that awareness, that attention into your body, that you were in fact holding on to a little bit of tension in places that weren't required. Inhale back through center. Use the belly muscles to bring your knees back toward the sky. Give yourself a nice big hug. Squeeze it all in. Spine is long. Feel free to rock side to side, forward and back. Deep inhale, feel that compression. Exhale, let it go. Feel free to stay here, or if you'd like to, come into happy baby, grabbing hold of the pinky edge of those feet, pulling those knees, those thighs alongside the body, working deep into the hips. And feel free to revisit that rocking side to side here. Maybe bend or straightening one leg at a time if you want to work through the back line of the legs here. Can feel pretty intense, so move in a space that feels good. Pull everything back in. Give yourself one more hug, one more bout of compression. Maybe pulling the chin in toward the chest. And then exhale, let it all go. Straighten those legs out toward the top of the mat. And once you extend those legs nice and long, go ahead and reach those arms up and overhead. Reach the fingertips up toward the space above you as you reach the heels towards the space below you. And really feel the body stretch out through from one end to the other through your belly button. Nice and long. Big inhale. Exhale, let everything fall heavy into the earth. Slide those arms back down alongside your body. And find your final rest. Find your Shavasana. If you had that pillow nearby and you want to make some use of it, again, not a requirement, just giving you some options. You can always put the blanket behind your head, give yourself a nice little pillow. If you wanted a little bit more opening, relaxation through the low back, feel free to roll that towel up for yourself as high as you are able and just place that underneath the knees. And you can find some nice support there. And then option 3, if a front hip opener is calling you, feel free to fold that blanket up, place it under your sacrum, and then extend the legs long. It's a nice option for a soft front hip opener, if that is calling for you in this moment. So find a space that feels connected for you and your moment here, how you're feeling, what the body needs. And place one hand on the chest, one hand on your belly. Close your eyes if that feels okay for you. And come back to that breath of 4 count inhales, 4 count exhales. Really feeling the rise of the belly of the chest. And everything fall heavier into the earth with every exhale. And just feeling that life force flow through you. Continuing to calm the body, calm the mind. So this class was intended to unwind the body, but the breath is a very beautiful way to unwind the mind. So give yourself at least 5 to 10 more breaths to explore that before jumping off your mat and going right back into your evening routine. As always, thank you so much for practicing with me. I'm going to leave you here for those last few breaths if you are able. I look forward to seeing y'all next time. And if you do enjoy flowing with me, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment, and I will see you at next Monday's class.